I'm 26F, in agony trying to decide if this is worth leaving my fiancé, 30M, over. We have been together 4 years and are getting married in 2 months. We have a wonderful relationship, with hardships and fights like every normal relationship, but we are overall very happy and work together well. About 8 years ago I was sexually assaulted, a very awful situation and thing that happened. I have healed a lot in these years, and I'm proud of my progress. My fiancé has been a big support to me, and knows everything that happened and has talked through it with me extensively. For a little context before I get to my issue, we have a very healthy and active sex life. We usually have sex every day, sometimes a couple times a day. We also both enjoy him waking me up in the night to have sex rarely, and I've given him permission to initiate sex when I'm sleeping as long as I don't have to wake up the next day early for work and we are in a good place emotionally. So we've had sex a few times in the last year, where he woke me up to have sex and I actively participated in it. He has always made me feel very safe and is attentive to my needs/reservations. There have been a handful of times where I got triggered, and he noticed me shutting down during sex immediately and stopped and talked with me. Which brings me to this. A few days ago, we had a pretty big fight over something unrelated, and basically we came to a place where we knew we needed to just go to sleep and talk more about it the next day. I was very upset over the fight and felt like he didn't validate my emotions at all, and was hurting but hopeful we would work it out the next day. I woke up in the middle of the night, after our bad fight and hurt feelings, to him having sex with me. It really triggered me in the moment since we had just been fighting, and he was having sex with me from behind and wasn't touching/kissing me, which he usually does. I wanted him to stop, but I couldn't tell him to stop because it immediately reminded me of my past sexual assault and I froze. So I just laid there still, and at several points even tried to shift him off of me, but he kept going till he finished. Afterwards I got up and cried in the bathroom. Here's my problem. I'm not suggesting he sexually assaulted me, because we are in a loving relationship, but I felt like he knew I didn't want to have sex and we were fighting, and chose to finish anyways. The next day I was really upset and I decided to ask him if he knew I didn't want to have sex even though I didn't verbally tell him no. He said he did. He told me he knew I was awake, and knew I wasn't moving/participating and chose to continue anyways. He said he made a mistake, and disrespected me and chose wanting sex over me. I told him that it really triggered me, and even though he didn't rape me, it felt like my body was being assaulted because I completely shut down and froze. I'm absolutely horrified that my future husband could do something like this, knowing what brutal things have happened to me in the past. Since then, he's apologized but also seems defensive and made a comment about how I don't understand how hard it is to be a man and control his sexual desire. I am devastated. I feel so anxious and hurt and told him I need some time to process before we keep having sex. But now I'm worried about our future and what happens if I actually asked him to stop or I wasn't in the mood and he did it anyways. I'm rethinking getting married, even though he told me he regrets it and feels like a monster and has apologized. He just broke my trust. Is this worth reconsidering the marriage?